crafters. I wanted to come into the studio today and do some little demonstrations with Cadence product for you. So a couple of weeks ago we did Digital Craftorium and we did the big storage boxes, and we decorated some of them with these mouldings that we sell on our website and highlightcrafts.com. And I wanted to just film those for you so that if you don't get to your product for a few months, you don't forget. But it's also good for anybody that's interested in starting their journey into different mediums. I think mixed media has been a little bit of a word, you know, don't know, it looks messy, it's honestly, it's really fun. And you can transform an old piece of furniture that you might have at home or that you might have found in a charity shop and make it look spectacular. So I wanted to film this particular video because this is creating like a tarnished metal. So we're taking it from a white silicone mould, and this could be a mould that you've created. So you've poured resin or you've used clay into a mould. These are just ones that we happen to sell. So the products that I'm going to be using are the hybrid acrylic black from Cadence, the antique anthracite hybrid metallic, the hybrid metallic topaz, and the Dora hybrid metallic platinum. Okay, so these are different paints within the Cadence range, and I love these, and they do slightly different things. So they're all hybrids, which means they will all go on any surface. I've got the black acrylic, which is just a flat matte black, but again, it will go on any surface. I've then got the anthracite or the antique anthracite and the topaz, which are metallic hybrids, so that will give you that shimmer and that shine. And the Dora hybrid metallic is slightly different in that it has ground down metal flakes in it. So the reflection that you get from that paint is just remarkable. And you need a smallest amount of paint because the pigment is so intense in Cadence. They make sure that everything is absolutely top quality, which is why we choose to use it at Highlight Crafts. So I'm just going to put those products out of the way. The other thing that you'll need will be a stencil brush. I would recommend getting a rounded one because then you can get into all the little crevices. If you haven't got anything like this, then just use a regular brush. And I'm just going to bring in my kitchen roll and just give this an extra dry because I washed it yesterday and it's not quite dry, and we want it to be dry before we don't want to dilute that pigment. Okay, so that's easy done. And then also we sell these on Highlight Crafts, these little sponge daubers, and I love these because they're completely flat, so you can get a really nice, almost like a dry brush finish, but more spectacular than that. So what I'm going to do first of all is put out some paint and just make sure that my work area is clean because it won't be in 5 minutes time. And we're going to put out some black paint and also some of the antique anthracite. So just give them a shake because sometimes the components of it can settle a little bit. And then a little bit of the topaz. And always make sure that when you've used your paints, when you wipe round here and make sure there's no paint round there, and you make sure that that stays really nice and clean, because otherwise what you'll find is your paint will go a little bit thicker, and we want that nice resolution. But I mean, just look how it holds its body. That paint isn't running anywhere. It is absolutely premium quality. And I think, you know, if you're used to using other paints, try the Cadence. My lovely son Matthew has just he's just started his own website called Brush and Blade Studios. And he's painting miniatures, like Warhammer miniatures with Cadence, and absolutely getting some amazing results. So it is one of those products that I think will spread throughout the creative industry. You just need to get people to know what it is and what it does. So all I'm doing is picking up a little bit of the black and putting it down. So a little bit of that, pop that down there, and a little bit of the anthracite, because I don't want it to be jet black. I want it to look a little bit older than that, rather than just a flat matte. And then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to start pouncing this paint into here. And because I've got that rounded stipple to my brush, this is a Royal Langnickel one, which we can get in stock as well, so we'll sort that out for you. But they are really good brushes. They do shed their bristles a little bit, but that's just because they've been hammered for over the years. I remember in the 90s I just had my son, and we moved into our first house, and everything got stenciled because stenciling was huge. I remember my friend Tracy, she even stenciled the floor. They sanded back the wooden floor and stenciled that. Everyone was having a go at stenciling then. It's like everything, isn't it, goes in and out of fashion and then it all comes back round again. So I still have my brushes from then. Right, so I'm just going to put this on now. Don't be tempted to do this, because what you're going to do is move that paint that you've put down. Because it's a hybrid, it will dry quite quickly. If you want to keep it open longer, make sure you use the Cadence extender. Just a couple of drops will keep your paint open a little bit longer, and it will make it a little bit looser. So it means that you can do different things with it. But for this, what I'm also trying to do with the paint is create a texture. So that's why I'm dabbing it like this, so we get those little bits of paint that don't go completely flat. So like we do handy, which is like an enamel, and it doesn't matter how you apply that, apply it with a brush and you don't have any brush marks at all. But for this particular creation, we want to make sure that it's a little bit more stippled. So I might as well use up the paint that I've got and just go in and just add now a little bit more texture. If you really want to get it textured, then dry it in between coats, because if it's still wet and you go over with another coat, it's just going to pull the paint. So you're not adding anything to it really. Right, so I'm going to go in now with a little bit of this topaz, and I'm just putting a little bit into that colour, excuse me, that I had before. I'm just going to have a quick drink because I've got a tickle. There we go. How did you miss your mouth, Melanie? I don't know. It's big enough. Right, so then we're just going to dab some of this off. And we're just going to go in and just lightly add a little bit of this topaz into it. And it just makes it look a little bit warmer, because we've had silver and we've had black. I want to just add a little bit of warmth into it so it looks a little bit, I don't know, it just ages it a little bit for me. A little bit like rust, but not rust. We're going to do that in a different video for you. There we go. Right, so I'm happy with that now. So you saw the amount of paint that I used. There's not much left. You would get another small embellishment done if that's what you wanted to do. But what I'm going to do now is dry it off thoroughly. So I've got my heat gun. I'm going to make sure it's really hot, so I'm not just, warming it up. Make sure that your heat gun's nice and hot, and then just go in and dry this off. Now this is still a water-based product, believe it or not, so clean-up's really easy. Just going in, and you can also heat these mouldings so that they're flexible, and you can wrap them around things. So if you wanted it to go round a hat box or round to the edge of a box, you can do that. But for this, I'm just going to show it you flat like this. Just a bit there. So just check on all angles, make sure you haven't missed any bits, and if you have, just go back in and touch it up. Right. So I'm happy with that, and actually that looks really nice just as it is by itself. It looks like something you would have got on like a, the gas fires that you used to be able to get. I don't know if they still do them with this kind of moulding on, but they used to, and I think that's a really nice effect. So you could, if you wanted to, stop there, but we're not going to stop there because that's not in my nature. So we're going to bring in Cadence Platinum, and actually what I'm going to do is just clean this up so that you can see it better without having all the paint. So water in a spray bottle and a piece of kitchen roll, or you could put some extender on it, spritz some extender onto it, and then use it to create a background, which would be A, more environmentally friendly, and B, won't waste your product. But for now, I'm just going to get rid of this. So just water on there and just wipe this, let it sink in. I have a little scraper that I use for my scamming cup, and I just clean that up. Okay, let's see if we've got anything in here that I can clean that better with. No, not today. All right, well, it is what it is. Fine. Right. So get a scraper on it. You know, something like a paste spreader for a metal stencil's good, or your scraper for your scan and cut is also good. Right, so we've got what we've got now. So I'm going to put a piece of kitchen roll down just to cover up that paint that's under there, and we'll bring this back on now. Look, so we've now got our fabulous moulding, and this, for me, is the magic. This is the bit where it all just pops, and I love this. This is where I squeal a little bit because it's exciting. So this is your Dora Hybrid Metallic, and you can see the level of shimmer and shine in that paint is extraordinary. I'm not even going to go into the bottle. I'm going to go straight from the lid. So I'm going to use my sponge dauber, and I'm just going to go in and pick up a little bit of paint like that. So a tiny amount. And then on my mat, I'm just going to pounce it. Okay, so all I'm doing here, do it further down than you can see, is just pouncing that paint because I don't want a lot of it. I just want a small amount of it. And then we're going to go in and we are literally just going to pounce on here. And what that will do, and it's the lightest of touch. So, I don't know how I would describe this, but a very, very feather-like touch. Very light touch. If you feel like you've got a bit too much paint on, take some off. And then go back in, because you can always add it, and if you're quick you can take it away with water. It's a bit like dry brushing with a sponge, absolutely, but I do think it's more stippled than that, so it gives it just that shimmer, and that's what we want. It's that aged antique look. Pick up a little bit more of that paint, just wipe some off, and then go and do the other side. And these sponge daubers come in different sizes in a pack. So it's worth getting a pack, because for the tiny areas, or if you're doing smaller pieces, you can get in with that. I mean, my son doing his Warhammer stuff is working with the smallest brushes you can ever imagine. He's very good at it. Right, so we're just going to pop this in here. And that, I think, is enough for me. So you've then got this fabulous, just, she says, and then carries on going. Have you noticed? I do this all the time. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Oh, maybe just. And then just pop that in like that. And you've got a fabulous ornamental decorative element that you can then go and put on a box that you've made. It could go on a wardrobe. It could go on a cupboard. It could go on the front of a journal. It's just fabulous. And that, if I just lift this up and just be able to see that shimmer and that shine from that gold, even though, well, it's not gold, it's platinum, even just the smallest amount just picks up that detail. And the quality of Cadence, I can't even begin to tell you how amazing it is. It is just phenomenal. If you've never tried it before, you need to give it a go. So that's how you create like a tarnished metal look. And now we're going to go and do another video. See you in a bit. Bye. If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.